Growing up, I knew I was different. While other girls talked about their crushes on boys, I found myself drawn to Sarah, my best friend in 7th grade. That attraction terrified me, not just because of what others might think, but because everything I'd been taught said I was destined for hell. Being a lesbian in my small conservative town meant living with a secret that felt like it was slowly killing me. But what I'm about to share with you isn't just another coming out story. This is about the day I actually died. The day I met Jesus face to face and discovered a truth about the afterlife that completely shattered everything I thought I knew about God's love, salvation, and who really belongs in heaven. I never planned to make this video. For months, I've wrestled with whether I should share what I experienced. But after what Jesus revealed to me about the profound changes coming to our world, especially what's prophesied to happen by 2030, I can't stay silent anymore. My name is Sarah, and my journey from living as a closeted lesbian to having a near-death experience that transformed everything I believed about faith and sexuality is going to challenge everything you think you know about divine love and acceptance. What happened in those moments when my heart stopped beating? Why did Jesus specifically choose to reveal these urgent messages to someone like me? And what were the alarming truths he shared about the future of religion and spirituality that left me shaken to my core? The answers will surprise you. They might even make you uncomfortable. But if you're willing to keep an open mind and heart, what I'm about to share could completely transform your understanding of both God's love and what really awaits us in the afterlife. Stay with me, because this story isn't just about my experience. It's about a divine message that could change everything for anyone who's ever felt rejected, judged, or told they don't belong in God's kingdom. I never expected that night to be any different from the countless others I'd spent wrestling with my identity. I just left another painful family dinner where my mother had, once again, tried to set me up with a nice young man from church. The weight of living a lie was becoming unbearable. As I drove home in the rain, tears blurring my vision, I remember asking God one final time, "Why did you make me this way if it's so wrong?" That's when it happened. The bright lights coming toward me, the screech of tires on wet pavement, the world spinning out of control. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you're about to die. But what I experienced was something far more profound. The moment of impact felt like being shattered into a million pieces. Then, suddenly, everything went quiet. I found myself floating above my own body, watching as paramedics rushed to the crumpled remains of my car. But before I could process what was happening, I was pulled into a tunnel of the most brilliant light I'd ever seen. The colors, oh, how I wish I could properly describe them to you. Colors that don't exist in our world, pulsing with life and energy. The overwhelming sense of peace was unlike anything I'd ever known. For the first time in my life, all the shame, all the fear, all the self-hatred just melted away. But what happened next shook me to my very core. As I moved through this incredible light, I felt a presence. Not the stern, judgmental God I'd been taught to fear, but someone, radiating pure, unconditional love. Jesus stood before me, but not as the stern figure from the stained glass windows of my childhood church. His eyes held such profound compassion that I instantly, all my years of guilt and shame came pouring out, and I waited for the condemnation I'd always been told would come. Instead, he smiled, and what he told me next would completely transform everything I thought I knew about God's love, about sexuality, and about the massive changes coming to our understanding of spirituality. The revelations he shared about what's coming in the next few years left me stunned. But before I tell you what Jesus revealed about our future, you need to understand exactly what he showed me about divine love and acceptance. Because this next part, it challenges everything we've been taught about who belongs in God's kingdom. That moment, standing before Jesus, I expected judgment. Instead, he spoke words that made my heart nearly burst. "Sarah, my beloved child, I never rejected you. Years of internalized shame began to dissolve. But this wasn't just about my personal validation. What he showed me next was meant for everyone who's ever felt excluded from divine love. "Watch carefully," he said, as visions began to unfold before me. I saw thousands of souls, gay, lesbian, transgender, and others who'd been told they were condemned, all embraced in divine light. Their love wasn't just tolerated, it was celebrated as another beautiful expression of God's infinite creation. But then his expression grew serious. "Sarah, humanity stands at a crucial crossroads." He showed me visions of the coming years, specifically pointing to 2030. I saw traditional religious institutions crumbling, their rigid walls of judgment, giving way to a new understanding of spiritual truth. The old systems that promoted fear and exclusion are dying, he explained. A great awakening is coming, but with it comes tremendous upheaval. I watched as scenes played out before me. Massive social changes, religious leaders facing their own prejudices, and communities being torn apart before coming back together in new, more inclusive ways. The most alarming revelation came when he showed me what would happen if humanity doesn't embrace this coming change. I saw darkness spreading, not because of people's identities or who they loved, but because of the hatred and judgment that continues to be spread in God's name. "Your story," he told me, "will be one of many catalysts. The truth about divine love must be shared now, before the great shifts begin." He showed me specific events, dates, changes that would shake the foundations of religious institutions worldwide. But what struck me most was his emphasis on urgency. These changes aren't coming in some distant future. They're already beginning. I started to feel myself being pulled back, but before I left, Jesus shared one final, crucial message about the true nature of salvation and what really determines our place in the afterlife. What he revealed completely contradicts what most religious leaders teach, and I knew sharing it would cause controversy, but this truth needs to be heard. As I returned to my body, gasping for air in that hospital bed, I knew my life would never be the same. The doctors called it a miracle, 6 minutes without a heartbeat. But the real miracle wasn't just that I survived, it was the message I was given to share. Here's the truth that Jesus revealed about salvation. It's not about who you love, it's about how you love. The divisions we've created, the judgments we've passed, the people we've excluded, all of these were human inventions, not divine mandates. And by 2030, he showed me these old beliefs will face a reckoning that will shake the foundations of every major religion. Since that day, I've struggled with how to share this message. Some of my family members haven't spoken to me since I started telling my story. My old church community turned their backs, but for every person who walked away, 10 more have reached out, sharing their own stories of feeling excluded from God's love. The most urgent message Jesus gave me wasn't just about acceptance. It was a warning. We're entering a critical period where humanity must choose between embracing a more inclusive understanding of divine love or facing the consequences of continuing to spread judgment and hate in God's name. The spiritual revolution he showed me isn't just coming, it's already here. To those watching who've ever felt rejected because of who you love, Jesus showed me your tears, your prayers, your midnight struggles with faith. He wants you to know that you were never broken, never wrong, never less worthy of divine love. The only sin was in those who made you feel that way. And to those who've clung to judgmental beliefs, the change that's coming will challenge everything you think you know about God's love. The choice you face isn't about accepting others. It's about whether you're ready to understand just how limitless divine love truly is. I didn't choose to have this near-death experience, but I did choose to share it, knowing the cost. Because the truth Jesus revealed isn't just for me. It's for everyone who's ever wondered if God's love could really be as conditional and narrow as some would have us believe. As we approach these prophesied changes, remember this. In those moments beyond death, in the presence of pure divine love, I learned that heaven's gates are far wider than any human institution has ever imagined. The question isn't whether God accepts you. He already does. The question is, are we ready to accept a love that's bigger than our prejudices? Let me know in the comments if my story resonated with you. Share your own experiences of struggling with faith and identity, because this conversation, it's just the beginning of the transformation Jesus showed me is coming. And every voice, every story, matters in the revolution of love that lies ahead.